Hi, I'm Randy Flood, psychologist and director of the Men's Resource Center here at Fountain Hill. First, I want to start off by taking a step into my own vulnerability and acknowledging that this is not a comfortable medium for me. When my staff reached out and said we want to put some videos on Facebook for people to engage and hear a therapist talk, I thought, well, I'm not going to do that. I don't like speaking into a screen, but here I am, taking a step into my own discomfort zone. So bear with me while I share with you some of my thoughts and feelings about the difficult times that I think we're all in. This is a time of grief for all of us. We're all losing something, some of us more than others. But it is a time of collective grief and times where we're going to experience anger, frustration, sadness, and just overall stress. And so I want to explain why we're seeing an increase in family dysfunction during this time. Particularly domestic violence is on the rise, some child abuse is on the rise. And it's not that these individual perpetrators are coming out of the woodwork and all of a sudden deciding that they're going to behave in this way. This speaks to some phenomenon that I think is important for us to recognize. I learned about this several years ago when I went to a conference in Pennsylvania where Richard Gellis, a famous psychologist who studies family violence, helped us understand psychological profiling of individuals who perpetuate domestic violence and other forms of family violence. He had us break up in small groups and begin to construct our own theories as a group of colleagues as to the psychological profiling of someone who would commit an act of abuse that would hurt someone they love. And we all came back to the larger group and talked about what we came up with our fancy theories and ideas and how that takes place with individual pathology explained. And he affirmed those different theories as reasonable, but he also wanted us to understand another form that occurs and I think is happening today, which is situation-specific domestic abuse or child abuse. And basically what situation-specific is that individuals behave in uncharacteristic ways due to the levels of stress that are unprecedented in their life begin to mount. So he took us through an exercise. He said, close your eyes. Imagine that you just lost your spouse through divorce, or they moved away, or through death. You have 3 children and you now are in an upstairs apartment on a hot summer day. And on one of those days, your air conditioning breaks. And then on the next day, you get a toothache. And on the following day, your child gets sick. And then you learn that you're not going to be employed anymore. And he continued to add stressor after stressor after stressor and asked us to humbly admit, when would we crack? At what point would we say or do something uncharacteristic and hurt our children? And I took away that insight and brought it into my life and my practice and realized that some of the people I see, as you know, some of you may know I co-authored a couple books providing typologies of men who act out. But there is one typology that we need to be sensitive to and have compassion for people who are struggling in ways that are unprecedented right now with the levels of stress of people with economic concerns, children at home needing to be homeschooled, while also trying to work from home, not having the resources that we usually have with friends and family right in front of us in person, being able to talk to. And as these stressors mount, we might find ourselves saying and doing something we regret. And so what I'm saying is, don't carry that shame around alone and think that you're a bad person because you are acting in ways that you never would have thought was possible for you. These are unprecedented times, and sometimes we engage in unprecedented behaviors. And you might fit that category of situation specific. Or maybe you've had a problem all your life with this, and now it's just exacerbated by your current circumstances. Whatever it might be, I'm reaching out and saying, have the courage and strength to reach out and ask for help. You don't have to go it alone. There's help out there. We are all doing teletherapy, most mental health professionals here at the Fountain Hill Center. Me and my colleagues, I'm running groups and doing individuals through teletherapy, and my colleagues are also doing that. So there is help available from the comforts of your own home just through having internet or a phone. So I encourage you to reach out, if not to a professional, to a minister, to a friend, to a family member, and talk and speak out of your shame and bring it into the light, because that's how shame is healed, is by opening up and talking to others. These times will change and we'll get to the other side of it, but in the meantime, give yourself love and compassion and surround yourself with people who care, and don't be afraid to be human and reach out and say, I need a hand.